Brooke sat in her quiet Miami home office, the glowing screen illuminating her careful face. An urgent email demanded an immediate transfer to secure a vital caretaker contract. The message pressed for instant action, using a strange repeating phrase that caught her meticulous eye. Instead of rushing, she paused, letting the calm tension of the dim room settle over her. Her steady breathing replaced the initial confusion. She knew the stakes involved her independence and hard-earned savings. With deliberate focus, she decided to verify the sender through the official company directory before making any move. The digital deception was subtle, but her observant nature was stronger. The late afternoon sun cast long golden shadows across the quiet Miami home office. Brooke sat at her polished wooden desk, the soft glow of the laptop screen reflecting in her reading glasses. At 68, she deeply valued her independence and the careful daily management of her fixed retirement income. Today, an urgent email had arrived regarding a new caretaker contract. The message demanded an immediate transfer to secure the agreement. It pressed for instant action, warning of severe financial penalties if she delayed the process by even a single hour. Brooke read the text slowly, her meticulous nature taking over as she analyzed every sentence. The sender used a highly convincing professional tone, but something felt distinctly off. She noticed the message included a specific, slightly awkward phrase twice. The exact same unusual wording appeared in the first paragraph and again in the final warning section. This strange repetition triggered her careful observation skills, honed over decades of managing household finances. The digital deception was trying to rush her, but the glowing screen only highlighted the suspicious pattern to her trained eyes. She leaned back in her comfortable chair, letting the calm tension of the dim room settle over her shoulders. Her breathing remained steady and measured. She took a deep breath, centering her thoughts against the artificial urgency of the message. The initial confusion faded into a quiet, detailed realization. The scammers wanted panic, but she chose methodical patience. She reached out and touched the smooth edge of her desk, grounding herself in the physical space of her safe, familiar home. A framed family photograph sat quietly nearby, reminding her of the beautiful life and the hard-earned savings she was protecting. She thought about the years she had spent building this secure life. Every dollar in her account represented long hours and careful sacrifices. The idea of losing it to a faceless digital trick was unacceptable. She adjusted her glasses, her focus sharpening as she prepared to investigate the sender. "They need it right now, but why use those exact same words twice?" she whispered to the empty room. Her voice barely carried over the hum of the air conditioner. Her hand hovered over the mouse, but she did not click the transfer link. The pressure to act immediately was a clear, undeniable red flag. She knew that true security came from verification, not haste. With deliberate focus, she pulled her hand away from the device. She decided to step away from the urgent email and find the official company directory. She would verify the sender through the proper channels before doing anything else. The screen continued to glow in the quiet room, but the power had shifted back to her careful, observant mind. Brooke stepped away from the urgent email and opened a new browser tab. The quiet hum of the Miami home office surrounded her, the late afternoon light fading into a soft purple twilight outside the window. She typed the official company name into the search bar, carefully avoiding any links from the suspicious message. The genuine website loaded slowly, its clean, simple layout a stark contrast to the cluttered, demanding text of the email. She navigated to the staff directory, her eyes scanning the list of contract managers with meticulous focus. Suddenly, a new notification chimed softly from her inbox. Another urgent message had arrived. Brooke opened it carefully, keeping her cursor far from any embedded links. The text was identical in its pressure, but what caught her eye was the phrasing. The exact same awkward sentence from the first email appeared again in the second paragraph. The repetition was no longer a coincidence. It was a digital signature of the deception, a careless mistake made by someone rushing the scam. She compared the sender address on the screen with the official directory listing. The real manager was a woman named Davis. The email demanding her immediate signature came from a generic, scrambled string of letters and numbers. They did not match at all. Brooke tapped the wooden desk, her breathing steady. She picked up her phone and dialed her son, Jacob. He answered on the second ring, his voice a calm anchor in the tense room. "Jacob, look," Brooke said, holding the phone to her ear as she pointed at the glowing screen.
The official site says Davis, but this email uses that strange phrase again. Jacob listened carefully, his tone practical and grounded. It does not match, Mom. Do not click anything else, just close the tab. I appreciate the advice, but I have already secured the official website, she told him, her tone reassuring. The sender is completely fake. I am just documenting the details now. Jacob exhaled audibly through the phone. That is a relief. Let me know if they send anything else. I can come over if the pressure gets too heavy. There is no need for that, Brooke said gently. I have this handled. The timer is just a trick to make me panic. She ended the call and placed the phone gently on the desk. The flashing red numbers on the screen continued to drop, 50 seconds now turning into 40. The artificial urgency was almost laughable now that she understood the mechanism. She watched the countdown with a detached curiosity, noting how the scammers relied entirely on fear to bypass logic. Her own logic was entirely intact. She folded her hands in her lap, waiting for the timer to finish its pointless cycle, completely unbothered by the digital threats flashing in the dim room.
The glowing screen reflected in the reading glasses, casting a pale light across the careful face. A finger hovered hesitantly over the mouse. On the monitor, the fake email thread updated with a final glaring notice. The message threatened to cancel the caretaker contract and forfeit the hard-earned deposit. A bright red countdown timer appeared in the corner of the screen, ticking away the seconds. 50 seconds remained. The heavy pressure of losing needed care pressed against the chest. The hand shook slightly. The cursor drifted toward the final override link. The digital trap was designed to induce panic, to force a mistake before logic could intervene. The artificial urgency filled the quiet Miami home office, making the air feel thick and heavy. The phone buzzed on the wooden desk, vibrating against the polished surface. A brief text arrived from the neighbor, Tatum. The message read that the neighborhood watchboard was seeing that same weird, awkward phrase in scam alerts today. The text advised staying sharp. The objective observation cut through the rising tension like a cool breeze. It was the final confirmation needed. The scammer was careless, recycling the same flawed script across multiple targets in the area. The vibration of the phone against the wood was a sudden, sharp interruption. Reading the words from Tatum brought a profound sense of relief. The isolation of the scam attempt was broken. Brooke was not the only target. The community was aware. The shared knowledge transformed the threat from a personal attack into a manageable external problem. Brooke looked at the family photographs sitting quietly beside the glowing monitor. The thought of the son and his steady voice on the phone just moments ago brought absolute clarity. A deep, centering breath filled the lungs, letting the calm of the dim room settle over the space once more. The fear of losing independence battled against the meticulous nature, but the careful observation won. The physical grounding of the wooden desk beneath the fingertips helped anchor the mind. The scammers wanted panic, but the quiet room demanded thought. The red numbers dropped relentlessly. 40 seconds, 35 seconds. The bold text on the screen repeated the same awkward phrasing from the initial message, a glaring typo that the scammers had failed to correct in their rush. The repetition was a glaring red flag, a digital fingerprint of their carelessness. Brooke watched the numbers fall, her breathing slowing to match the steady rhythm of the wall clock in the hallway. The contrast between the frantic screen and the peaceful room was stark. The timer ticked down to 30 seconds. The screen flashed, demanding immediate action, but the resolve hardened. The shift from hesitant fear to firm, deliberate self-control was complete. The hand pulled away from the mouse, resting flat on the polished wood. The physical grounding helped clear the final remnants of artificial urgency. The decision was made to verify, not to rush. The phone was reached for to call the official bank fraud line, leaving the countdown timer to expire in the quiet Miami office. The digital deception was loud, but the silence was stronger.
The countdown timer on the glowing screen hit 0. The monitor flashed a harsh red warning, then faded into a blank, dark display. The digital trap had snapped shut on an empty room. Brooke did not flinch. The attention turned to the physical phone in the hand, the fingers dialing the verified number from the official company directory written down earlier. The late afternoon light had fully faded into twilight, casting long, quiet shadows across the wooden desk. The only illumination now came from the small brass lamp in the corner, casting a warm, steady glow over the paperwork. The line rang twice before a crisp, professional voice answered. "Contract Management, Davis speaking." Brooke kept the breathing steady, the tone calm and deliberate. "Hello, Davis. Brooke speaking. An urgent email arrived demanding an immediate transfer to secure the caretaker agreement. The message used a strange, awkward phrase twice in the text. The call was to report the incident and verify the account status. There was a brief pause on the line, followed by the rapid sound of keyboard typing. The account was visible in the system. Let the system notes be checked. Reports of a targeted campaign using that exact phrasing had been received all morning. The email received was a complete fabrication. That was the correct action by not clicking the link. Brooke exhaled slowly, the quiet tension in the Miami home office finally beginning to ease. Gratitude was expressed for the confirmation. The shoulders relaxed, dropping the invisible weight they had carried for the past hour. Certainty was confirmed, Davis replied, the voice firm but serious. However, because the email address was specifically targeted by this group, the digital profile was now flagged. The fake email was gone, but the risk to the identity remained active until a manual security audit was completed. An in-person visit to the local branch tomorrow morning was required to sign the physical override forms and reset the primary credentials. Until that step was taken, the account remained in a vulnerable state. Brooke looked at the dark monitor, then at the family photograph resting quietly on the desk. The edge was traced with a thumb, grounding the physical reality of the safe home. The digital deception had been stopped, but the work of securing independence was not yet finished. Immediate control was reclaimed, but the final lock required physical presence. The promise was made to arrive first thing in the morning. The voice remained steady and clear. The forms would be ready. Take care, Brooke. The call ended and the phone was placed gently on the desk. The room was silent, the glowing screen completely dark. The immediate threat was stopped, but the shadow of the deception still lingered, waiting for the next move. The soft click of the disconnected call echoed briefly in the quiet space. Brooke sat still for a long moment, listening to the distant, muffled sound of the evening traffic outside the window. The transition from the digital battlefield back to the physical sanctuary of the home was complete. The brass lamp cast a gentle, protective light over the desk, highlighting the grain of the wood and the smooth surface of the family photograph.
Brooke closed the laptop with a soft, definitive click. The glowing screen vanished, leaving the Miami home office in the gentle shadows of early evening. The digital trap was gone, and the heavy tension that had filled the room finally dissipated into the quiet air. She took a deep, centering breath, feeling the steady rhythm of her own heartbeat. Her independence and her hard-earned savings remained entirely her own. The scammers had demanded panic, but she had chosen calm control. She stood up from the wooden desk, her movements slow and deliberate. The family photographs still sat quietly on the desk, a silent witness to her careful victory. Brooke smoothed her simple cardigan and walked out of the dim office, leaving the dark monitor behind. The hallway was warm, illuminated by the soft, golden light of the living room lamps. Jacob was waiting on the comfortable sofa, a steaming teapot resting on the low wooden table. He looked up as she entered, his expression open and relieved. The quiet hum of the house wrapped around them, a stark and beautiful contrast to the frantic, artificial urgency of the fake emails. Brooke walked over and picked up a ceramic mug. She poured the hot tea, the fragrant steam rising into the peaceful air. She carried the warm mug over to her son and handed it to him gently. "It is done," Brooke said softly, her voice steady and clear. "My money is safe." Jacob smiled, his eyes reflecting the warm light of the room. He reached out and clinked his mug gently against hers. The soft sound echoed in the quiet space, a simple toast to her sharp mind and unshakable resolve. "Good job, Mom," he said, his tone filled with quiet pride. "The situation is completely handled." Brooke sat down in her favorite armchair, wrapping her hands around the warm ceramic. She took a slow sip, letting the comforting heat settle in her chest. The fear of losing her security was completely gone, replaced by a deep, relaxing relief. She had faced a sophisticated digital deception and walked away unharmed. Her careful eyes had protected her, and her methodical patience had been her strongest shield. Outside, the Miami night was calm and still. Inside, the evening was deeply peaceful. Brooke closed her eyes for a moment, resting easily in the quiet safety of her home. She knew her boundaries were secure, and her future remained firmly in her own careful hands.